The colony on Aurelia was quiet tonight. The two moons hung low in the sky, casting soft silver light over the metallic rooftops. Milo sat by his window in the small dormitory room, staring at the blinking lights of the energy grids that ran through the colony. He was supposed to be asleep, but something had caught his attention earlier, something he could not explain. It started as a faint sound, almost like the wind brushing against the window, but there was no wind. Just a soft, almost musical whisper. At first, Milo thought he was imagining it. The colony had been isolated for months, and the long hours of work sometimes played tricks on the mind. But the whisper came again, clearer this time. Milo, the sound was so soft he could barely hear it. He froze, heart pounding. No one else was in the room, and he could see the empty hall outside. His first instinct was to ignore it, to tell himself it was just his imagination. Yet curiosity got the better of him. He leaned closer to the window, trying to catch the sound again. There it was, a delicate voice, like it was coming from the glass itself. "Look, see," Milo blinked, scanning the horizon. The colony's lights stretched across the valley, but there was nothing unusual. The whisper seemed to move with the faint hum of the energy lines running beneath the buildings. The lights flickered slightly, and Milo noticed a strange pattern in the readings on his small handheld device. He had been monitoring the energy grids for weeks, and he knew them well. But tonight, something odd appeared, tiny fluctuations that seemed deliberate. He pressed his ear closer to the window. The whisper came again, longer this time, almost forming words he could understand. "Follow the signal." Milo's hands trembled. "Who's there?" he whispered into the empty room. Only silence answered him. Still, the words repeated in his mind, clear and insistent. He felt a shiver, a mixture of fear and excitement. No one else in the colony had ever reported anything like this. By morning, Milo could not sleep. He spent the day pretending to work on his engineering tasks, but his mind kept drifting back to the whispers. That night, he returned to the window, notebook in hand. He recorded every small fluctuation in the energy readings, every blink of the lights, every whisper he could hear. As he worked, a pattern began to emerge. The energy spikes were not random, they formed a sequence, almost like a code. Milo's heart raced as he realized that someone or something was trying to communicate with him. The idea was thrilling, but terrifying. What if it was a warning? Or worse, what if it was dangerous? But curiosity outweighed fear. Milo decided he had to follow the signal, no matter what it meant. He packed a small backpack with tools, his data tablet, and a flashlight. Leaving his dormitory quietly, he walked through the silent corridors of the colony. The air was cool, and the hum of the energy grids felt stronger tonight, almost guiding him forward. He reached the edge of the colony, where the metal buildings gave way to rocky terrain. The whispers were louder here, clearer, more urgent. Milo scanned the surroundings and saw nothing unusual. Then he noticed a shimmer of faint, silvery glow coming from the abandoned observatory on the hill. No one had been inside for years. The place was considered dangerous and off-limits. Yet the glow pulsed like it was calling him. Milo felt drawn forward. Step by step, he climbed the rocky path, flashlight bouncing over the rough ground. His ears caught the whispers again. Safe, trust, the words calmed him strangely, even as his heart raced with both fear and excitement. Reaching the observatory, he pushed open the heavy metal door. It creaked loudly, echoing in the empty space. The inside was dark and dusty, but the glow came from the far side of the room, near the tall windows that faced the valley. Milo approached slowly, every step careful. As he got closer, he could see the shimmer take form, like light bending into a shape, but not fully solid. It hovered near the window, almost like it was alive, its glow moving softly across the glass. Milo swallowed hard. The whispers returned, now forming clearer words: look, learn, prepare. He did not know what they meant, but one thing was certain: this was not a dream. Something beyond his understanding was trying to reach him. His fingers trembled as he reached out toward the glowing shape. It pulsed lightly under his touch, warm and electric. Milo realized that the signal, this strange whispering presence, was the start of something bigger. Something that could change everything about life on Aurelia, and beyond. He took a deep breath and whispered back, though he was not sure anyone could hear him, I'm listening. The shimmer seemed to respond, pulsing brighter for a moment. The whispers faded, leaving Milo alone in the quiet observatory, but he felt a new sense of purpose. Something had chosen him tonight. And Milo knew that whatever it was, his life and perhaps the fate of the colony was about to change forever. The next morning, Milo woke earlier than usual. The whispers from the night before lingered in his mind, a strange memory that felt both real and impossible. He rubbed his eyes and stared out the window of his dormitory. The colony was quiet, just as it had been before, but Milo felt different. He could not ignore what he had seen. At breakfast, he tried to act normal, talking with other engineers about schedules and repairs. But his thoughts kept drifting back to the observatory, to the glowing shape he had touched. No one else had seen or heard anything like that. Milo felt a small weight of loneliness, the kind that comes from holding a secret too strange to share. After his shift, he returned to the observatory. The metal door protested with a creak as he pushed it open. The sunlight streamed through the dusty windows, lighting up the empty room. Milo walked to the far side where the shimmer had appeared last night. But the glow was gone. Only silence remained, broken by the faint hum of the energy grids outside. He sighed. Perhaps he had imagined it all, the exhaustion of long shifts playing tricks on his mind. But as he turned to leave, he heard it again, a whisper, soft and careful. Wait, see. Milo froze. His heart beat fast. The whisper seemed closer now, coming from one of the tall windows at the end of the observatory. He stepped closer, and his eyes widened. There it was, the shimmer again, forming a faint, moving shape in the sunlight. It looked like liquid light, folding and stretching, almost like it was alive. Milo felt a mix of fear and wonder. Slowly, he reached out. The shimmer responded, rippling as if acknowledging his presence. A soft, musical tone filled the air, like a song without words. Milo realized the whispers were coming from this shape it was trying to communicate. Follow, learn, the whispers repeated. Milo's curiosity overcame his fear. He studied the shimmer closely, noticing patterns in its movements. Every pulse seemed to match the energy readings he had recorded the night before. It was not random, the shimmer was intelligent, guiding him, teaching him. He opened his notebook and began drawing the shapes he saw, noting the timing and the flickers of light. The whispers grew more frequent, forming simple phrases he could understand: safe, trust, help. Milo smiled. Somehow, the shimmer was trying to teach him. He remembered the colony's security protocols. No one else had access to the observatory, and he had no idea what this being wanted, but he trusted his instinct. For the first time, Milo felt that he was part of something bigger than the colony, bigger than himself. Hours passed as he worked, drawing, writing, and testing small devices he had brought from the lab. The shimmer moved closer at times, almost like it was observing him. When Milo paused, it pulsed brightly, as if reminding him to continue. By evening, Milo's hands were tired, but his mind was alive with ideas. He realized the whispers were not just random noises, they were a message, a guide. The shimmer was teaching him to understand the energy grids in a way no one in the colony could. It was showing him patterns, hidden flows of power that could be used in new ways. Suddenly, a louder, clearer whisper startled him, "Danger, coming soon." Milo froze. He looked around the observatory, then outside the windows. The colony lights glimmered in the distance. Was it a warning? He realized that this intelligence not only wanted to teach him, but also to protect the colony. He sat down on the dusty floor, heart pounding. He thought of what could be coming and why this being had chosen him. It was frightening to know something might threaten the colony, but the shimmer's presence gave him courage. He was not alone in this. The night grew darker, and the shimmer's glow became stronger. Milo felt a strange calm. He understood that he had been chosen as a messenger, someone who could learn and prepare. He spoke softly, unsure if the shimmer could hear him in words, I will learn. I will help." The shimmer pulsed warmly in response, almost like a nod. Milo felt a connection, something that went beyond understanding, a bond between human and intelligence, a promise of guidance and protection. As he left the observatory that night, Milo glanced back at the glowing figure. For a moment, it seemed to wave or something like it. He shivered with excitement. The whispers had begun as mysterious sounds, but now they were a lifeline, a guide that could change everything. He knew that tomorrow would bring new lessons, new discoveries, and perhaps, the first true understanding of the intelligence that whispered at the window. Milo walked back through the quiet colony, determined. He had a mission now, and a strange, glowing friend in the observatory was teaching him the first steps. He did not know what dangers awaited, but for the first time, he felt ready. The following days were restless for Milo. Each night, he returned to the observatory, notebook in hand, following the shimmer's guidance. He learned to interpret the pulses, to see patterns in the energy grids, and to predict small shifts in the colony's power systems. The whispers were clearer now, forming short phrases he could understand easily. But tonight, the tone was different. The shimmer pulsed urgently, faster than usual. Milo stepped closer, trying to understand. The whispers were sharper, almost urgent. "Danger, approaching, prepare." Milo's stomach tightened. He had not expected a warning. The colony had seemed peaceful, almost too quiet. He looked out through the tall observatory windows at the glowing lights of Aurelia's settlement. Everything appeared normal. But the shimmer's insistence left no doubt, something was coming, and the colony needed to be ready. Milo rushed back to his dormitory, thinking of the energy grids and security systems. He tried to alert the colony leaders, explaining that he had discovered unusual energy patterns and strange signals. But they shook their heads, smiling politely, dismissing him as overworked. "Just rest, Milo," one officer said. "You've been working too much." Milo felt frustration rising, but he could not give up. He knew the shimmer was real, and he believed its warning. He returned to the observatory, trying to communicate more clearly. "Show me," he whispered to the glowing figure. The shimmer responded with a new sequence of pulses, forming a pattern he had never seen before. Milo quickly took notes, realizing it was showing him a path of approaching objects in space. His heart raced. He understood that the shimmer was not only teaching, but also warning him about an external threat. For the first time, Milo considered the possibility of alien life, not friendly observers, but beings who might see the colony as a target. The shimmer pulsed again, whispering, "KRYTH, scouts, near." Milo froze. He had never heard of the KRYTH, but the sense of danger was clear. The intelligence was signaling that these scouts were approaching Aurelia, silent and hidden. The thought sent chills through him. He could not rely on the colony leaders to understand. He had to act. Milo spent the night preparing. Using the shimmer's guidance, he modified a small drone to detect unusual energy signatures. He calibrated the sensors according to the pattern shown by the pulses. Every few minutes, the whispers encouraged him, reinforcing the instructions, teaching him how to anticipate the scouts' movements. By dawn, Milo had finished the drone. It hovered quietly in the observatory, scanning the skies above Aurelia. The shimmer pulsed softly, almost as if it was proud. Milo allowed himself a small smile, though worry still sat heavy in his chest. He now had the means to observe the threat, but the colony remained unaware. Hours passed with no sign of the KRYTH. Milo watched the drone's readings closely. Suddenly, tiny blips appeared on the screen, faint but undeniable. The whispers grew urgent, "Prepare, warn." Milo knew he had no choice. He ran to the communications hub, where Lena, a young officer who monitored colony transmissions, was stationed. He explained quickly, showing her the drone's data. "Look. Something is approaching," he said, trying to keep his voice calm. Lena studied the readings, her eyes widening. This can't be right," she murmured. "They're too small to be full ships, but the energy signatures, they're real." Milo nodded. "I know. The shimmer warned me. We have to get the colony ready." Together, they worked quickly, preparing warning signals and alerting the small security team without causing panic. Milo kept one eye on the observatory, where the shimmer pulsed, guiding him. The being seemed to understand human fear and determination. It was patient, but persistent, like a teacher helping a student face their first challenge. As evening fell, the sky above Aurelia was calm, almost peaceful. Yet Milo knew it was a fragile calm. The KRYTH scouts were near, unseen, and the colony remained mostly unaware of the danger. He returned to the observatory one last time before night fully settled, watching the shimmer glow softly by the window. "You warned me," he whispered. "Now I have to protect them." The shimmer pulsed brighter, the whispers gentle but firm, "Trust, act, survive." Milo felt a sense of connection and responsibility. The intelligence was not just teaching him, it was entrusting him with a mission. The KRYTH were approaching, yes, but Milo realized something important: humanity had courage, intelligence, and resourcefulness. And with guidance, they could face threats that seemed impossible. As night deepened, Milo stood by the observatory window, gazing at the stars. Somewhere out there, silent scouts moved toward Aurelia, unaware that a young engineer had begun to unravel their presence. The whispers had started as mysterious sounds, but now they were a lifeline. Milo understood that the real test was only beginning and he would not face it alone. The next morning, Milo could hardly wait to return to the observatory. The warning from the night before weighed heavily on him, but it also sparked determination. He had to understand the shimmer's guidance fully. If the KRYTH scouts were truly approaching, the colony needed every advantage Milo could uncover. As he entered the observatory, the shimmer was already there, pulsing softly near the tall window. Milo felt a strange comfort from its glow, as if it were waiting to share more knowledge. He unpacked his tools and tablet, ready to follow the patterns the being had been teaching him. The whispers started immediately, forming clearer instructions: observe, test, understand. Milo followed them carefully. He connected his small drone to the observatory's sensors and adjusted its detection program according to the shimmer signals. Tiny sparks of light pulsed across the control panel as the instructions appeared, almost like a map. Milo realized that the shimmer could manipulate energy in subtle ways, guiding the machines to detect things humans could not see on their own. Hours passed as Milo experimented with the device. The shimmer pulsed with every success, and the whispers encouraged him. Good, correct, see more. Milo marveled at how patient the being was, guiding him without forcing him to act too quickly. He began to notice patterns in the energy fields around the colony, invisible currents that the drones could now detect. By mid-afternoon, Milo's work produced the first real result. The drone detected faint signals far beyond the usual energy readings. He examined the data closely. "These are not natural," he muttered. "Something is out there, and it's moving toward us." The shimmer pulsed brightly, almost excited. Milo felt a rush of adrenaline. He had created a tool to reveal what was hidden, something he never imagined possible just days ago. The whispers were patient yet insistent, guiding him to refine his work. Milo knew he needed help. He called Lena to the observatory, explaining what he had discovered. She studied the readings, her brow furrowed. "If this is correct, we could detect the KRYTH scouts before they reach the colony," she said. This could save everyone." Together, they adjusted the device, following the shimmer's guidance. It became clear that the intelligence was teaching them not only to detect threats but also to understand them. Every pulse, every glow, was part of a lesson, showing Milo and Lena how to interpret energy patterns as information. As evening approached, the observatory glowed softly with the shimmer's presence. Milo and Lena watched the drones feed, realizing that the approaching scouts moved cautiously, trying to remain hidden. "They think we cannot see them," Milo whispered. "But now, we can." The whispers grew calmer, more deliberate. "Prepare, knowledge, strength." Milo understood that the shimmer wanted the humans to be ready, not just physically, but mentally. It was teaching them strategy, patience, and observation tools far beyond any weaponry. Milo felt a sense of pride. The shimmer had chosen him and, indirectly, the colony, as learners. The being was showing them the potential within humanity, the ability to adapt, understand, and respond to challenges in creative ways. Milo realized that the KRYTH scouts were dangerous, but underestimating humans would be their mistake. By nightfall, Milo had mapped the energy patterns completely. The drone could now alert them to approaching ships far before they appeared in conventional sensors. Milo felt a quiet thrill. He had never imagined such responsibility, yet the shimmer had guided him patiently, step by step. Lena looked at him with wide eyes. "This is incredible, Milo. If the scouts come, we won't be caught by surprise. We can prepare defenses or at least know what's coming." Milo nodded, feeling the weight of their task. "We still don't know their numbers or full intentions. But now we have a chance." The shimmer pulsed one last time for the night, and Milo understood it as approval. It seemed to communicate silently, You are ready to act when the time comes. Milo felt a surge of confidence. He had learned so much in just a few nights, but he also knew this was only the beginning. The KRYTH scouts would test the colony soon, and humans had to be clever, patient, and united to survive. As Milo left the observatory, the moons of Aurelia hung low in the sky. He felt a quiet determination. The shimmer had given them knowledge, and knowledge was power. The whispers were no longer just mysterious sounds, they were a guide, a mentor, and a warning. Milo knew the next challenge would come quickly, but now, at least, they were ready to face it. The colony might not understand yet, but Milo and Lena could feel the change. Humanity was small, fragile, and alone in many ways, but with guidance, intelligence, and courage, they could stand against the unknown. And tonight, for the first time, Milo truly believed that humans had a chance. The sky above Aurelia was clear that night, but Milo felt a restless tension in the air. The shimmer in the observatory pulsed softly, almost like a heartbeat. It had guided him and Lena for days, preparing them for what was coming. Now, the moment of testing had arrived. Milo and Lena watched the drone's screen carefully. Small blips appeared on the feed, moving slowly toward the colony. The energy patterns matched what the shimmer had predicted. Milo felt a mixture of fear and determination. "They're here," he whispered. "The scouts are coming." Lena nodded, her hands steady on the controls. "We know where they are. We can guide the defense drones to intercept them." Milo's fingers moved quickly over the controls, sending commands to the colony's small fleet of automated defense drones. The shimmer pulsed brightly, its whispers almost urgent: "Focus, act, protect." The first scout ship emerged from the shadows of space, sleek and silent. The drones moved in perfect coordination, guided by Milo and Lena's careful planning and the shimmer's subtle instructions. Milo felt a thrill of pride. The human colony, small and underestimated, was about to face an advanced alien threat, and they had a chance. The scout detected the drones almost immediately, but Milo's calculations were correct. The drones were fast, maneuverable, and precise. They intercepted the scout with a burst of energy pulses, disabling its stealth systems without destroying it. The shimmer glowed warmly, as if approving their success. "Good, observe, adapt," the whispers encouraged. Milo and Lena worked tirelessly. Another scout appeared, then another. The defense drones moved like a single entity, blocking the scouts and sending signals back to the colony's early warning system. The humans were learning quickly, responding to the scouts' moves before they could act. Milo realized that the shimmer had not only given them knowledge, but also confidence. The scouts tried to regroup, moving in coordinated patterns to flank the drones. Milo's heart pounded as he calculated the paths, adjusting the drones' flight patterns in real time. Lena monitored energy signatures, predicting the scouts' next moves. Together, they created a strategy the KRYTH had not expected, a human counter that relied on intelligence and adaptability rather than sheer strength. For hours, the sky above Aurelia was alive with movement. Pulses of light from the drones streaked across the darkness, while the scouts tried and failed to break through. Milo's mind raced, but the shimmer's whispers kept him calm. "Patience, think, control." Eventually, the scouts retreated, pulling back into the shadows from which they had emerged. The drones hovered in formation, ready to defend again if needed. Milo sank onto a chair, breathing heavily but smiling. They had won the first battle, and more importantly, they had learned how to face the threat. Lena looked at him, her face reflecting relief and excitement. "We did it," she said softly. "The shimmer, it helped us every step of the way." Milo nodded. "Yes. But this is only the beginning. They will come back, stronger. We have to be ready." The shimmer pulsed one last time for the night, a soft, steady glow. Milo felt a deep connection to it, as if it were silently praising their efforts. The whispers now sounded calm, almost satisfied. "Learned, prepared, survive, the victory gave the colony hope." Word of the drone's success spread quickly, and even the skeptical leaders began to take Milo seriously. Though they did not fully understand the shimmer, they recognized the importance of the preparations. Milo felt a quiet pride. Humanity might be small, but cleverness, courage, and teamwork had allowed them to overcome a powerful alien threat, even if just for one night. As he looked out the observatory window, Milo thought about the shimmer. It had guided him through fear, taught him patience, and shown him how to protect the colony. Without it, the scouts might have destroyed everything. Now, Milo understood that humans were not helpless in the galaxy. With intelligence, determination, and guidance, they could stand against the unknown. The moons of Aurelia reflected on the observatory glass, serene and silent. Milo felt a new sense of responsibility. The first clash was over, but the war for the colony's safety had just begun. He knew the KRYTH would return, but for the first time, Milo believed that humanity could face them and perhaps even prevail. The shimmer's glow faded gently as the night deepened, leaving Milo with a sense of calm determination. Humanity had taken its first real step toward proving its strength, guided by a mysterious friend that had appeared at the window. And Milo knew that whatever came next, they would be ready. After the first encounter with the KRYTH scouts, the colony on Aurelia was awake with activity. Engineers and technicians worked late into the night, adjusting defenses, repairing drones, and reviewing Milo's data. Yet, Milo's mind remained on the shimmer. He knew it was more than a guide, it was an intelligence, a presence that had been quietly teaching him and Lena for days. That night, Milo returned to the observatory. The shimmer was already there, glowing softly in the corner near the tall window. But something had changed. The light seemed warmer, almost alive, forming a shape that was easier to recognize. It was no longer just a shimmer of energy, it was a luminous, ethereal being, with gentle curves of light forming what felt like a face and hands, though not solid like a human's. Milo gasped. You can take shape," he whispered. The being pulsed brighter, and a soft, musical voice filled the room. "Yes. I am Vora. I have guided you to understand, to prepare, to survive." Milo felt a mix of awe and relief. He had sensed intelligence behind the whispers, but now he could see it, feel it. Vora was not dangerous, its presence was calm, reassuring, even protective. Vora continued, "The KRYTH scouts you encountered are only the beginning. Their kind searches the galaxy for civilizations to conquer. I have helped many species survive when others would have failed. Now, I offer guidance to humans." Milo exchanged a glance with Lena, who had quietly entered the observatory. Her eyes were wide with amazement, but also determination. "We need your help," she said softly. "We want to protect our colony, our people." Vora pulsed gently in response. "You already have the tools. I will teach you to use knowledge and observation as weapons. You will not fight blindly. You will understand your enemy, and you will act with strategy." For hours, Milo and Lena listened as Vora demonstrated ways to detect and predict the KRYTH's movements. The being showed them energy patterns, teaching them how to recognize subtle signals of approaching ships long before sensors could pick them up. Vora's presence seemed to enhance the human technology, allowing the drones and detection systems to work in perfect synchronization. Milo marveled at how quickly he and Lena adapted. They were learning more than defense, they were learning strategy, patience, and observation. Each pulse of Vora's glow communicated something new, a method to turn knowledge into power. The whispers were no longer mysterious, they were lessons, forming an alliance between human ingenuity and alien intelligence. Days passed, and the bond grew stronger. Milo and Lena worked with Vora to improve the colony's defenses, refining drones and building new devices that could respond automatically to threats. The Shimmer's guidance taught them to think ahead, to anticipate the KRYTH Scouts' strategies, and to protect the colony with precision. One evening, as the moons of Aurelia rose high in the sky, Milo stepped back and looked at the observatory window. Vora hovered there, luminous and calm, almost like a guardian watching over them. Milo felt a deep sense of trust and purpose. The colony was no longer vulnerable, and humans were no longer alone in the galaxy. "We have a chance now," Milo said quietly. "With Vora's guidance, we can face the KRYTH. We can survive and maybe even thrive." Lena smiled. "We're stronger than we realized. And it's not just the drones or the technology, it's us. Humans. We think, we adapt, we fight when we need to. And now, we have Vora to help guide us." Vora pulsed warmly in agreement. "Together, humans and I can ensure your safety. But more than that, you will learn, grow, and prepare for challenges beyond this colony. The galaxy is vast, and there will be others who test your resolve. This alliance is only the beginning." Milo felt a surge of confidence. The first clash with the KRYTH had been frightening, but now, with Vora by their side, the humans were learning not only to defend themselves but also to think, plan, and act strategically. It was a partnership, one built on trust, intelligence, and courage. As night fell over Aurelia, Milo looked out at the quiet colony. The lights flickered softly in the distance, unaware of the invisible guidance protecting them. Yet Milo knew that humanity's future had changed. With Vora's help, they could face dangers that once seemed impossible. Humans had courage, intelligence, and now, a powerful ally. For the first time, Milo truly believed that humans could not only survive in the galaxy, they could thrive. And as he glanced back at Vora, he understood that this bond, this alliance, was a turning point. Humanity was no longer alone. The shimmer pulsed one last time for the night, filling the observatory with gentle, luminous warmth. Milo and Lena smiled, ready to face whatever challenges the future might bring, together with their new ally. The colony on Aurelia had changed. The small settlement that once felt fragile now thrummed with quiet confidence. Milo walked through the streets, observing the humans working together, repairing drones, checking energy grids, and sharing knowledge. It was as if the first clash with the KRYTH had awakened something inside everyone, the realization that humans could face challenges if they worked smart and together. Milo paused at the edge of the colony, looking at the night sky. The stars sparkled above, distant and countless, yet no longer frightening. Somewhere out there, the KRYTH might still be observing, but Milo felt a calm determination. Humanity had learned. Humanity had grown. And they were not alone. He thought about Vora, the luminous being that had appeared at the observatory window. Vora had taught them to see beyond fear, to use intelligence, observation, and strategy to protect themselves. Milo realized that the alliance was more than just guidance, it was a partnership built on trust and mutual respect. As he reached the observatory, Milo saw Vora hovering near the window, its glow steady and warm. Milo smiled. "It's been quite a journey," he said softly. "You've taught us so much." Vora pulsed gently, the whispers filling the room. Humans, capable, ready, future. Milo felt a sense of pride. The colony had survived the first test, but more importantly, the people had learned to adapt and think ahead. They understood that courage alone was not enough. Their minds, their creativity, and their willingness to learn were equally powerful weapons. Lena joined him, her face reflecting quiet amazement and determination. "The colony, it feels different now," she said. "People aren't just surviving, they're learning, planning, thinking about tomorrow. We can't stop here. We have to keep growing." Milo nodded. "Yes. And with Vora's help, we will. The KRYTH may return, but we'll be ready. Not just to fight, but to protect, to understand, and to thrive." Vora pulsed brighter for a moment, as if acknowledging Milo's words. The whispers became almost musical, a promise rather than a warning. Learn, protect, expand, grow. Milo thought about the colony's future. With the knowledge Vora had shared, they could strengthen defenses, improve energy systems, and even explore beyond Aurelia. Humans had always been explorers, and now, with guidance and preparation, they could extend that courage into the wider galaxy. That night, Milo returned to his dormitory, but sleep did not come immediately. He stared at the window, listening for the familiar whispers. They came softly, calming and reassuring, reminding him that learning was ongoing. Humanity was small in the vast galaxy, yet capable beyond expectation. The whispers were no longer a mystery, they were a guide, a companion, a promise of growth. Over the following days, the colony continued to prepare. Milo and Lena taught others the lessons they had learned from Vora. Energy grids were optimized, drones were upgraded, and the humans became vigilant without panic. The first clash had been a test, but now, the colony operated with intelligence, strategy, and teamwork. Milo often returned to the observatory, watching the stars, feeling a connection to the shimmer and the wisdom it shared. He realized that this was only the beginning. Aurelia was safe for now, but the galaxy was vast and full of unknowns. Yet humans were no longer passive or fearful. They had learned to observe, to adapt, and to act with purpose. One evening, as the moons of Aurelia reflected softly across the valley, Milo stood at the window, gazing out at the quiet colony. He whispered softly, as if Vora could hear him even when it was not pulsing, "Thank you. For trusting us, and for helping us see what we can be." The shimmer pulsed brightly in response, a final affirmation. The whispers carried a message clear and strong: "Future, yours, ready." Milo felt a deep sense of peace. The humans had survived the first true test in the galaxy. They had learned, grown, and prepared for challenges beyond their world. With courage, intelligence, and a little guidance, humanity could face the unknown and thrive. As he turned from the window, Milo knew the shimmer would always be near, guiding and watching, but never controlling. The future was now in the hands of humans, their choices, their wisdom, their courage. And for the first time, Milo truly believed that humanity could not only survive in the vast galaxy but also find its place among the stars. The colony slept peacefully, unaware of the invisible guardian that had whispered at the window, yet safe because of it. Milo smiled, feeling hope, strength, and determination. humanity had begun its journey into the wider universe. And this was only the beginning.